Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a little bit of light awaiting Moshiach. I'd like to continue to share with you from the writings of the Chafetz Chaim in his work Machne Yisrael. So here the Chafetz Chaim poses, again, the Chafetz Chaim's whole point is to strengthen our belief and hope and awaiting the coming of Mashiach. V'ayomer ha'adam, person shouldn't say, Eich yuchal liyos sheva Mashiach tzidkeinu b'yameinu. How is it possible for Moshiach to come in our times? We do not have enough good deeds. Meaning, Chafetz Chaim, the question a person may have is that we're not worthy enough. We don't have enough mitzvahs, we don't have enough good deeds, we don't have enough merits to be able to merit the coming of Mashiach. So how could he come when we're so lacking in merits and worthiness? So the Chafetz Chaim says, it's not true. Because when Hashem wants to redeem us, he doesn't look so much at our actions. And he cites a medrash. And he brings down part of the medrash, and I'm going to share with you the medrash. I'm going to share with you more of the medrash that what he brings down. So the medrash is a medrash that's going on the pasuk in Shir Hashem, a Song of Songs, Perek Beis, chapter 2, pasuk Ches, verse 8. Kol doidi, the sound of my beloved. Hinei zeba, behold he comes. Midaleg al heharim, leaping over mountains. Mekapeitz al hagvaois, bounding over hills. Hashem is being described as coming and leaping over mountains and bounding over hills. Says the Medrash that when Moshe came to the Jewish people and said to them, in this month of Nisan, Atem Nigolim, you're going to be redeemed. They said, Rabbeinu Moshe, Master Moshe, how can we be redeemed now? Hashem told Abraham that we will be enslaved and will be in a land that's not ours for 400 years. We've only been here for 210. On that, the answer is, Moshe Rabbeinu says, Amar lahem, hayavu chafetz begulaschem, since he wants to redeem you, he doesn't look at the calculations, the numbers. Rather, he medalek harim, leaps over the mountains, bekapetz alagvais, bounding over hills. The next part of the Medrash says that when Moshe said to them, how can we be redeemed? The land of Egypt is full of our idol worship. We've been idol worshipers. It's an interesting expression in the Medrash. The land of Egypt is full of our idol worship. So how can we be redeemed? Again, Moshe says, if Hashem wants to redeem you, he will not look at your idol worship, but rather, again, medaleg al harim, leaping over mountains, mekapeitz al gavois, bounding over hills. And then a third point brought in the Medrash is that Moshe says you're going to be redeemed. And they said, hey, how can we be redeemed? How can we be redeemed? We don't have good acts. We don't have good deeds. We don't have merits. Omar lohem, on that, Moshe said to them, being that he wants your redemption, doesn't look at your evil, at your bad deeds. Over me mabit, who does he look at? The deeds of the righteous amongst you. And in the case of leaving Egypt, it was like Amram, Moshe Rabbeinu's father, and his court. So the Chafetz Chaim brings this medrash. And as the Shem Mishmuel, a great Hasidic work known as Shem Mishmuel, says, is that the Jewish people had these three problems: how to be redeemed before the time, because of our idol worship, and without good deeds. And actually, not only lacking good deeds, but we have sins. So we're unworthy. And the answer to that is, and the answer that Moshe Rabbeinu gave them, says the Shem Mishmuel, is that you're right. According to the letter of the law and according to logic, you have no way of getting out. However, once Hashem desires your redemption, that's the answer. When you're dealing with chayfetz, when desire, that's above reason. And and that's the source of mercy, again, above and beyond the letter of the law and logic. And therefore, Hashem told the Jewish people, Moshe told the Jewish people, Hashem doesn't look at any of these things. So this is what the Chavetz Chaim is citing. That we're going to have a question, we're unworthy of redemption. So the Medrash says that when the Jewish people were being redeemed from Egypt, they also weren't worthy. They claimed they weren't worthy. And Moshe said to them that when he desires to redeem you, that's not going to make a difference. And we know that the redemption from Egypt is the prototype for the redemption of Moshiach. And therefore, the Chavetz Chaim says it's the same idea. To not believe, and to not believe that Mashiach can come today because of the fact that we're not worthy, or Mashiach can't come until we become worthy, that we see from the Medrash when the Jewish people leaving Egypt, that it's not so. When Hashem decides to redeem us, he doesn't look at our deeds, or our lack of deeds, or our misdeeds. But what's interesting to note, and I think it's very important to note, and the Chavetz Chaim doesn't bring down this part of the Medrash, but as I read, then when it talks about the deeds, so the response is, Hashem will not look at, he doesn't look at your evil deeds. But who does he look at? At the righteous amongst you. Which means, is that, again, as the Shem Shmuel says, are you worthy? No, you're not worthy. But if Hashem wants to redeem you, he won't look at your deeds, but he'll look at the deeds of the righteous Shebachem that are amongst you. There needs to be merit. The merit will come because of the acts of the righteous. Are the Jewish people as a whole worthy? No. But if Hashem decides it's time for the redemption, then Hashem will use the merits of the righteous to be able to bring the redemption, as was done in the time of Egypt. And to me, the wording is B'tzadikei shebachem, the righteous amongst you, which at the time of Egypt was Amram, Moshe Rabbeinu's father, and his court. But I believe that the Medrash is saying that in all generations, no matter how great the generation, we know that generations get spiritually smaller and smaller, but nonetheless, we have tzaddikim. Every generation has their righteous people in their midst. And when the Chavetz Chaim tells us, based on the Medrash, that even if we're not worthy, if Hashem wants to redeem us, he will redeem us, the merits of the righteous are going to make that possible. Which means that we need to look at the individuals within our generation, the greatest spiritual people that we have, the righteous people, the people that lead the Jewish people, care about the Jewish people, and are recognized as the leaders, as the spiritual leaders, as spiritual giants of the generation. These are very important people for many reasons. In our context, they're very important because once Hashem wants to redeem us, it's going to be possible because of their actions, because of their deeds. Even if we don't have the merits, those people, it'll be their merits that'll make it possible. And again, this is all part of Hashem's mercy, as the Shem Shmuel says. But that mercy still needs merits. And Hashem will look at the merits of the righteous that are amongst us. And with Hashem's mercy and decision to bring the Geula, with their merits, it'll be possible. There, it's very important for us to have that proper perspective about the people that are the righteous individual in our midst, and to realize how important they are for our ultimate redemption, the redemption that we wait for every day. And we don't say to ourselves, well, we're not worthy. If Hashem, the time has come to redeem us, Hashem will redeem us, even if we're not worthy, out of his great mercy. And that's made possible with the merit of the righteous. Thank you for listening. This has been a little bit of light. Have a wonderful Shabbos.